Good morning. It is currently 4:17 in the morning right now, and I'm about to go make my to-do list for the day. I'm not going on my run this morning. I just got my tattoo and I'm pretty prone to infection, so I usually give it like 3 days after a tattoo before I start doing any type of like strenuous stuff. But we'll still be working today. Don't even worry about that. And let's see it. All right, just got a ton of designing done, a bunch of stuff done for Creature Athletics, so that was pretty good. I spent the past like 3-4 hours on that, which not a bad thing. Got a lot of work done, which is awesome. So today I wanted to kind of talk about how to find your calling and how I found mine. Growing up, I was always in contact with a ton of people who already knew what they wanted to do since a young age, since middle school, right? And they were always striving for that doctor, surgeon, landscaping, real estate, whatever it is, and they've always known that since a young age, so they always had something to work towards. And I think I've mentioned this in a past video, but for me personally, I'm all or nothing, 100 or 0. So I always fully dedicate myself to things, and getting closer to coming out of high school, I found myself not knowing what to do, not knowing where I would go next. And everyone around me said, you know what, I'm going to school for this. I'm going to be an electrician, a plumber, whatever it may be. And I was just lost. I didn't know what to do. I felt like out of place. I felt that I was behind the rest of the population, which reality it's not. I still talk to a lot of older folk, and they say, I don't even know what I want to do now, and I'm 67 years old, and that's fine. That's life. No one's ever going to be strictly destined for one purpose. People have multiple ranges of specialties and things that they excel at. My original plan was to come out of high school, go into business, and go to college. I graduated around the time of COVID, so it kind of made it hard for me to think about going to college for business when paying tuition and being at home for most of my 2 years or whatnot. And I was kind of conflicted because I would have to go to college, pay tuition, but still be at home. So in my head, I'm like, what am I doing? And then I started thinking a little bit more, and I said, you know what? If I'm going for business, why would I start the first year of my adulthood at 18 in debt? Now, thinking business-minded, that's not the best idea. You can always prosper from that. I'm not saying that's not a good path to go down. I'm just saying that in my head, from what I knew I wanted to do, it wasn't start off in that much debt. So last minute, I was accepted. I was about to go down to Georgia area for college, and I pulled out. From that point forward, I took the next year or two really thinking about what I wanted to do. And like I said, I was conflicted because I really could put 100% into something, and I always had, but it would be like 6 months on this, and then off, and then something else. And I didn't want to do this back and forth. I wanted to pick one thing and just go crazy. And just to list a few of the things I tried during that time period after high school, I've done everything from drop shipping, real estate, music engineering, sales, restaurant jobs, healthcare jobs, landscaping, solar. I did modeling, and I tried to make my own protein bars at one point. So wide spectrum of things, and a lot of them has to do with talking to people with sales and creativity. Now, these didn't really influence my decision going forward, although it helped it. But I did want to talk about how to find your calling. And for me, this is like a big point in my life where I really got to make that decision and stick with something, and now I'm fully committed, and it's one of the best feelings in the world. So I'm gonna get into that now. Is there ever something you do that you're doing it and you're just coasting along, you're in that flow state or whatnot, and you look up at the time and it's been 3, 4, 5 hours doing it, and you have no idea? This could be a hobby, this could be something more intricate on the computer, this could be anything, but those things that you do and you look up at the time and it feels like no time has passed, but it's been, hours. So I started to look at those things for me. And so one of them was music, which I did prior to my clothing brand. And I found that I had always been messing around with music. I found that, I don't play any instruments. I've never done singing lessons, but I always found so gravitated towards it throughout my whole life. And I just felt like that was really compelling me to do more with it, not just have it as like, oh, it's cool, I love doing it with my friends and whatnot, And so from that point, when I said, you know what, I do have a real passion for this, I started going more in depth, and I started learning about the DAWs, I started learning about vocals, you know, all of that stuff. And I luckily, you know, had a wide group of friends at the time. Well, prior to that, I didn't. So I posted on social media, I said, look, whoever is interested in music, whoever does music, reach out to me. And from there, I met probably 5 to 10 of my best friends to this day. And we all started working. We were all a conglomerate, and you know, I would do the engineering, someone would do the mixing and mastering, someone would do the beats, and we had a ton of different people come by who would do rapping, singing, any type of music. And so together we actually made a whole studio. We would charge people. It was going great for the longest time, and the way that ended was essentially I just felt like the engineering side on my end was just, I mean, it was tedious. It is. Not many things aren't when you're doing your own business, but the fact of it was that I wasn't able to express the creativity like I mentioned earlier in the earlier video, but I just felt kind of restricted in that sense. And it was great being able to meet all these people, being able to work with all these artists, but I just didn't feel like my personal expression of music was coming out. And now the point I want to kind of gather from me doing music is it's something that when I looked to my childhood, I looked back and I saw these old videos of me on the camcorder, and I saw me playing drums or playing a piano, like a little toy one or whatnot. I'm like, okay, cool, every kid's tried it. And then I would go forward a little bit, like 10 years in time, and I'd see me making a band with my friends, and I was 10 years old, and you know, we were just messing around. It wasn't anything serious, but it's just always something that kind of carried through my life that I've always found myself doing. And so if you can look back and find those things that you have always done that just somehow come back every couple years, every couple months. And for me, I have ADHD like bad, so it's, for me, I'm always going back and forth on different things, but music was reoccurring, and that was one thing that kept coming up. And so I said, you know, if I can spend all that time on it and not worry about the time and have time fly by, and on top of that, I've been doing it my whole life, in and out, it kind of points me in that direction. So I pursued it, I tried it, and I found out through what I was doing that it wasn't for me. And not that I don't do it anymore, I sure as hell make a ton of music and love working with people on it. But as a career and something I can make money off of, I didn't see myself doing that in the long term. Like I said, I have to have passion for it because I'm all or nothing. So I guess 3 main points from this story that I want to make clear is, for one, find something that you can do and the time just flies by. It doesn't feel like work. 2 is look to your past and see what's kept on reoccurring throughout your life and what you've always had a knack for, you've always continually tried, whether or not you're good at it. It's just something you've always picked up and something you've always had an interest in that sparked your creativity or your mind. And then 3, like I said, is just try it, man. Just go for it. Like I said, I've done all of those things, and not that I didn't like all of them. It's just I found out through trial and error that it's not for me. So try everything. If you look at it and you say, you know what, I really like this, I have a fun time doing it, worry about doing it. Worry about the passion of it, worry about being the best, whatever it is, and the money will follow. Don't look at something and say, well, that can never make me money. Because I'm sure you guys have been on Instagram, you see the people who do the wildest stuff. I saw somebody making an anime character out of tires the other day. Never thought that was real. And I'm sure he's selling those for thousands of dollars. So it's not necessarily about the money at first. If you always chase money, you'll always be in that loop of just go to work, come home, go to work, like chase your passion, the money will follow, is what I'm saying. But with those 3 things, I think it really helps people analyze and know themselves in the sense that they can see the future with something rather than just in the moment, what do I do? Because that's the situation I was in for the longest time. And having this clarity now and knowing that I really, really like what I do and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon, I can see to the future and I can scale this to as big as I want to. But I really hope this helps somebody because like I said, I was going crazy for like 2 years trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And it's okay not to know what you want to do at first. Like I said, I didn't know. Most people around me knew, which made me kind of insecure, saying, wow, like I don't have my stuff together. But life is not linear, so you have to kind of go with the dips and curves and ride the wave. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope somebody gains something out of this. If I can help one person, I'm grateful, man. So, peace.